middle of the room and tearing on the floor. But it was so dark you couldn't see this figure's face, isn't that right? Yes, the room that was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Hat 1 launch 7 years ago... Oh my god. Every time. If it's about that Hat 1 miracle again, you can sod off and tell it to a stray mutt. Damn. Excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness. And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? Oh, wow. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired us. Wait a minute, how is the room laid out? Oh, where's the plan? Is it in this? A diagram, perfect. They were in the control room. Wait a minute. Oh. No, I just realised. So I was wondering, like, is the gutter near here? Because if they're in the control room... I keep realising I'm circling it with my mouse, you can't see. But if they're in the control room, the figure fired from the middle of the boarding lounge, the gutter is to, like, the bottom right of the boarding lounge. There's no way the bullet would have fired to the control room and ricocheted all the way to the bottom right. So yeah, something doesn't add up here. Right, I'm just looking at evidence. Present the bullet. It's still an enigma. Objection! That doesn't explain how it ended up in the gutter. Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie. A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history? Plenty. My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door. And the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have travelled in this direction. Yeah, we're gonna point out how did it end up. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Oh, it was there. Oh, not the bottom right, the bottom left. My bad. Oh. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Oh. Did he do it? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round. Objection! What would be the motive? Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his medal. Of this there is no mistake. Objection! But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. Oh yeah, sure. I didn't think so. What? How? Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? Please don't. You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? Oh. Okay, he's getting even more suspicious. What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair? I think it looks cool, Phoenix. Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and this is why the bullet was found in the south. Yeah, given the fact this game is mostly just like a visual novel, it's incredibly interesting. And incredibly fun too, to just kind of tear down testimonies and actually find the culprit. That makes some sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favourable for the prosecution. I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time... Oh, I snapped him! Yikes! His handcuffs. You'll become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. Alright, I'll tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. And now you have lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door. Meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition, the corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one. That's why I wanted to change their positioning. My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks. Oh dear. Order in the court. Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie? You were covering for the defendant. Isn't that right? Yes. It was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? I don't believe that. The amount of lies this guy has told, he's just become more and more suspicious. Looks like we come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled. No! It's over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix, think. This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person. The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict. Objection. Oh yes. Not just yet. Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility. Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright. There is one and only one person who could have escaped from this scene, or from the scene, and that person would be the first person who arrives on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them. Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is this one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge? I mean, if it's the person that's at the southern door, I mean, he could have used both, but I'm going with Yuri. Especially if he was first on the scene. And it's also, he just seems ultra suspicious. With all the lies he's been telling. What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here? Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all. But that means... Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos. Oh. What? What? Boo-doo-doo. Order! Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail. I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm, and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and fired 2 warning shots. Saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos. Oh! Right, yeah, I've just caught on to what we're saying. If they entered through the south, and they were in the middle of the lounge, and then Detective Arm came, they would be able to escape into the control room. But only Director would be, because he's the only one that can get through. They did actually say that when they was kind of, pushing the player towards who it is. I just didn't catch on. I just did it on pure suspicion. Saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. I've been hit. I've been hit on the starboard side. Captain Wright, it's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot. Oh, he's got a phone. Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Oh, this is so crazy. Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again. I've been hit on the port side. The enemy has called in reinforcements. Earth to Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence. But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. Oh. If Director Cosmos is the third person, or a Blackwell Saw, this third person fled at Detective Arm, fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. There it is. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? So basically, the bullet is from Detective Arm's gun. It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the Director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Oh, great. Brace for further impact. Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. Right, so it's going to be the bullet from Detective Arm's gun. Come on, click. Sheesh. Bullet from Arm's gun. Oh god, my throat. The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor of the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analysed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. Oh dear. The bridge is destroyed, losing altitude, all hands, abandon ship. If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank? It was the 10 caliber bullet. In other words, the Director. It was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! You've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Okay. Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth. If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth. Oh dear. Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? But the cosmos revolves around me! God. Someone get me off this thing. Poor guy. Order. Order in the court. Will someone please stop the witness from spinning? There we go. Right, so that's the end of the first part of the trial. Oh my god. There's still one more. Well, the other half to go through. Whew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth. While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the medal. Go on. There we go. It was made by a .38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. Well, I'll be... Are you ready to confess the truth, witness? No, you've got it all wrong. This is just a misunderstanding. Is he going to start piling on more lies? It looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. There we go, that's good. That's the end of the trial. Hooray! Well, the first half of the trial, I should say. To be continued. Right, time to end this case. Save game, yes. Save over that. Don't know how much longer the trial will go on for. It's been an hour, and I've only gotten through... like 2 testimonies is all that we did. Alright, that's all. Boom. Oh, we actually start straight away. Oh. Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are all claiming, or they are claiming, that you were this third person. Forgive me. I'm so sorry. So the great pioneer space development is revealed to be just another fabulist cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? Dear. Ba-bum. The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos. So don't try to talk your way out of this. Fine, I'll tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me. I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. Ah. I then went past the elevators and all the way around to boarding lounge 1 again. I came up behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second on the scene. What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts. I see. So then... Are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim? Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness. God, this again. No, hold on just one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you. No, it wasn't me. I saw the person as well. If I were the killer, why would I lie to cover for Starbuck? Jesus. I would just leave him to take the fall. That is an excellent point. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. Well, it makes some sense if he told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck. Still, a lie's a lie, Athena. So Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof? Ah, I just remembered. I have an alibi. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 AM, correct? Yes. And? Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort, and it's a process. Ask any member of the staff you'd like, they'll corroborate me. The director is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirmed that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 AM. and that you arrived at the lounge after that. Yes, and I believe the person I saw is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an Earthling. As long as he has an alibi. We can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer. No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need to yet. I wonder if he was really covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the Director testify about the person he saw. Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please. Alright. So what I really witnessed. What? Oh right, yeah, the killer. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door, and, well, the launch pad 1 door. And I'm just going to open up a drink and mute. There we go. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. But it wasn't. So you were shot at by the killer as well, and then they disappeared. Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured. Ah. Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his middle. And that was Detective Arm's bullet, remember? Right. What a mess this is turning into. So, let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him. Right. But it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it. And then the killer disappeared and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him... Oh. I said that as if it was leading into other dialogue. Judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too. Good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared. I'm ashamed to admit I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but... when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate. But what I found was Terran with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor. So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route. Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence.
A riddle of the ages indeed. But I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great. A great man is always misunderstood in his own time. But he must remain true to himself even if those around him don't understand. Wow, that might be the first true statement he's said all day. But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? Simple. Because it was Spaceboy himself. When he was spotted by the director and Aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter-evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor? No, because it was as dark as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room. That wasn't exactly helpful. I'm prepared to accept your surrender, Wright Dono. Not just yet. I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up. Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help? Move Matrix. Nice. Huh? While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord. Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us. Huh. This might just help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him. Oh yeah. It's Mood Matrix time! You got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Yuri Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me. There it is. Okay, so the unexpected emotion is what we're looking for. As I try to enter the lounge... Oh dear. The true killer inside fired a gun at me. So sad, surprised, angry. They're reasonable. I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. Okay. Well, that's already... unexpected. You would think... he'd be surprised, because they vanished. Let's just see if there's any others. I was near the elevator side door. And well, the launchpad 1 door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. Right, yeah, no emotion on those makes sense. Being sad at that makes sense, because of the explosion. Also that makes sense. Yeah, the unexpected emotion is the fact he isn't surprised at the fact the killer vanished. Yeah. You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air. I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually. And yet, at that time you barely registered any shock at the occurrence. Hmm? Why are you... I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went. Isn't that right? What? No, of course not. That's preposterous. Only I can enter the control room. And the area beyond the launchpad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, that's where I was. I was standing right there. So there was nowhere for the killer to run to. Maybe, or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Terran. Yes. What if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door? I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge... Detective Arm. Detective Arm came rushing towards it, herself, via the southern hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by the killer. Caught by her. Jeez, why did I add the killer? What about the elevator door, though? And yet the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure there was no escape route for the culprit to use. Elevator door. Again, elevator. It's working, boss. One more punch and it'll be a knockout. There seems to be one more emotion that's at odds with his testimony. Go get him. Okay, back into the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to victory. So I now need to find another strange emotion. Or unexpected emotion. Yeah, that's fine. Near the elevator door. If anything, I would say that one's suspicious now. Because whenever he mentions any other door, he registers no emotion. But why would he be sad about the Launchpad 1 door? I mean, I did make the case that because of the incident and what happened, but... even still, like, he's mentioning a door. I think I was just reading too much into it. I'll go with that. As I say, it's the only door that's registering emotion, so... Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the Launchpad door. The great Yuri Cosmos, afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation? Whether I have any basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it. Click. Sheesh. I'm most certainly not. Director Cosmos. There's something about the launchpad door you're not telling us, isn't there? Wow, he's speechless. Looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. Was the launchpad corridor the only place, or where they could have escaped to? I'll just input those 2 pieces of data, and yes, just what I wanted to see. Aha! Presto changeo, less discord. Looks like we're on the right track. Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launchpad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launchpad 1 door. When we put these 2 pieces together, only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. It's where the killer fled to. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? The culprit went through the launchpad 1 door to escape, didn't they? Yes, I mean no. Disaster to starboard. Or starboard. We're going to crash into an asteroid. A master tactician you are not. But the area beyond that door was filled with smoke, wasn't it? What if it wasn't? True, but this is still the only logical answer there is. If we can just figure out what the director is hiding about the Launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. But that door requires fingerprint recognition. Only Starbuck, Terran and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock. Do you? Well, yeah. Starbuck was unconscious. That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. I mean, there was Starbuck and Terran. I don't know if a dead person's handprint would register, though. Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. Oh, it was Starbuck's. I propose that the killer used this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock. That's... indeed. Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gotten past the security lock by using Mrs. Starbuck's prints. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. But what? And I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet.